Hey guys, welcome to the Marketing Mavens podcast. My name is Emily, and this is episode 3, why you're playing small with your B2B lead gen strategy. Okay, so today I'll be sharing with you the most overlooked lead gen strategy in the book, something that has generated me over $500,000 in 12 months, and also 8 figures in my clients' annual revenue. So I'm also going to give you 3 case studies I've seen and actually implemented myself firsthand. And I'm going to let you in on an insane revenue possibilities of this strategy, plus the one thing you need to make this strategy work for you. The only thing I'm asking is that you share this episode with your peers, and that if you haven't already, that you join the Facebook group Soul and Success. I'm going to leave the descriptions down below, or whatever, the links down below somewhere. And basically, let's just start, okay? Because I have notes. If you see me kind of just going up and down and stuff like that. By the way, guys, you can either listen to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform, or you can watch it on YouTube, or you can watch it on Facebook. I'm all over the place. But anyways, so I have some notes, so that's why you're going to see me going up and down. The first thing that I want to kind of cover in this episode is the definition of account-based marketing. This is really the lever that you probably have been missing in your race to success when it comes to your online business. So I'm going to do a quick search here, and when you Google the definition of account-based marketing, it comes up as and this is coming from Marketo.com. So account-based marketing, it's not loading fast enough for me. Technology is being a jerk. Okay, so account-based marketing is a focused approach to B2B marketing in which marketing and sales teams work together to target best fit accounts and turn them into customers. So this is a great definition. I want to read a couple more stuff here. In the age of information abundance, marketers are always fighting for attention of potential customers. Because of this, companies that want to focus on the highest possible ROI need to place their attention on high value accounts, keeping account penetration, marketing penetration, and logos in consideration. To reach their goals, marketing teams must employ strategies that meld the expertise of sales and marketing to locate, engage with, and close deals with high value accounts that matter the most. So I love this definition. I'm actually going to share it in my screen because this is great. Okay, so couple of things, couple of terminologies or keywords here that I want you guys to really focus on as you start looking into account-based marketing is best fit accounts, right? So account-based marketing focuses on best fit accounts. And what that means is accounts that truly, that you believe that truly need the offer that you actually have in your business, right? So especially for online service providers, so like, let's say you're an OBM or an operations manager, you have to make sure that whatever account that you're going to be targeting is a best fit for you. Not just in the fact that, you know, the offer that you have is going to provide like a complete 180 transformation, but also that you would love to work with them. So like a win-win situation. It's not just about the client itself or the potential client. Obviously, it's a big deal that you make sure that this is something that is a good fit for them, because otherwise there won't be a sale. But you also have to take into consideration what that sale will mean for your business and for your ego as well, honestly. So the way that I like to put it is, if you are actually looking at a specific account, for example, is this account, does this account have tons of connections or a big network that you could potentially tap into later down the line, right? So that is one of the things that I would look into. I would also look into their values, because that's super important for me. If you're not a values-driven person, that might not be important for you, but I love, and this is why I moved my marketing firm to tech startups, because typically tech startups are super innovative. They are building products or services or apps that are changing the world and are changing the way that we use technology, and completely just pioneering, right? Pioneering the way that we do life. And so for me, that's super interesting. So I'm always looking for super innovative products that I could potentially market. So in your one question that I would ask yourself is, what does like a best fit account look like for you, right? So that's one keyword. So the other thing is that I love this sentence here. In the age of information abundance, right? Marketers are always fighting for the attention of potential customers, and that is so true, right? So we have all these different platforms that we have to focus on, and I'm quote unquote focus on. Like for example, TikTok is the latest thing that people want you to focus on, right? But before TikTok, it was Facebook ads, funnels. We had tons of different funnel platforms. Some of them Click Funnels, Funnel Gorgeous, Kartra. I mean, there's an endless list of that, right? And it goes by trends, right? It goes by seasons. And so like, Facebook ads took a big dump not too long ago. In the last couple of months. And because of that, then people are now trying to create omnipresent marketing strategies, and they're trying to test Pinterest ads, test TikTok ads. And now people are claiming that TikTok is where it's at, and that's the next best thing. And it could be, but because there's this abundance of platforms, not just information, this abundance of platforms and potential entry points. As marketers, and if you're an online business owner, you also have to wear that hat of marketers. As marketers, we have to kind of figure out like what is the best use of our time, what is the best use of our resources, what is the best use of our creative energy, because these platforms require that you create content as well, right? So it's not just that we're going to plug ourselves into TikTok. We also have to now that we're in TikTok, we have to create a content marketing strategy around it. If you decide to go all in on Reels, then you're also going to have to create an entire content marketing strategy around Reels. If you decide to go on Facebook ads, you have to create multiple ad campaigns with collaterals and things like that, different marketing messages that you're going to have to test. Because again, you want to have that data-driven approach to marketing, right? So with that comes like I'm not looking at this just from the perspective of a small business owner. I'm also looking at it from the perspective of a CMO, right? So like, this is why account-based marketing is such a huge deal, because when you approach and when you focus on ABM, instead of creating tons of content marketing strategies and focusing on multiple platforms, your entire resource of time and energy and creativity go into ABM and go to best fit accounts, right? So that is another key term or a sentence that I really like here. And then if we move past that, right, we want to focus on the highest possible ROI, right? It goes back to the whole best fit accounts. When you actually close a best fit account, the ROI is exponential. It's not just whatever price tag you put on the monthly retainer that you're charging. It also goes beyond that to the relationship that you are establishing with that client, because again, that client could potentially have a high network, right? So aside from that, I love the fact, I love the fact that it says here, to reach the goals for ABM, marketing teams must employ strategies that meld the expertise of sales and marketing, right? To locate, engage, and close deals with high value accounts that matter the most in your business. So I love this sentence because I truly believe that the best type of marketing is the marketing that melds well with sales. And if you guys have bought the Prospect Pathfinder, there is an entire workshop bundle that speaks about this, that basically tries to recalibrate your mindset around marketing and its importance, because we are currently in the state of affairs with the industry we are so flooded with this message that marketing is where you need to be. You just need to be focusing on marketing in order for your business to grow. You need to be doing all these different things, lead magnets, funnels, ads, tiny offers, SLOs. I mean, like I can go, like the list is super, super long, right? And all of these different things, that I just mentioned, they're basically part of marketing. But when you're just starting out, and even if actually, I don't even want to say if you're just starting out, if you haven't hit your 7-figure mark yet, what you should be focusing on is mastering your sales process, your lead gen process, and your prospecting process. And these are 3 different things, okay? So prospects are basically potential best fit accounts, potential accounts that you could actually work with. You need to be able to master how to identify these very easy. And it also includes understanding where these people are, right? Because it goes beyond creating like an ICA data sheet or whatever. It goes beyond that. It's prospecting. I like to call prospecting, the way that I describe prospecting or define it is, just imagine somebody that does door-to-door sales for cable companies or internet. Like that's prospecting. They're knocking on doors, seeing if somebody actually is interested. And they actually, and I know this because I used to be a door-to-door salesperson. You go to certain neighborhoods because you have already kind of figured out that like who actually is more prone to closing deals. So you go to specific types of neighborhoods. So if you are a solar roof person, you're going to go to kind of maybe the suburbs, right? Because you know that these people are probably more inclined to want to save money or, have like a green, green tax credit, whatever that is, right? So you have to be able to understand where these people live or engage. You have to understand who they are specifically, what their language, their verbiage, what language they use, right? To express their pain points, to express their current state of affairs in their business. And then with lead gen, like the lead gen system, right? Applies the prospect system and generates and converts the prospect into a lead, right? So that's completely different, right? So when you look at prospecting, they're not exactly leads because they probably don't even know who you are. But once you start actually approaching these prospects and they start getting to know who you are and they're receptive to the conversation that you might be starting, they slowly enter the lead gen system. And the lead gen system has different types of stages or facets until you actually convert them into customers. And, that's a whole other process in itself. And then the marketing strategies that you're typically used to hearing about are kind of an umbrella of those 2 systems that I just described, the prospecting and the lead gen system. So while these 2 systems are working every single day, you should also have an umbrella or a blanket of marketing strategies covering this. So that way your ecosystem starts getting built, right? Because when you prospect and you identify potential accounts that you want to work with, and you start actually establishing those conversations, one of the first things that these people are going to do is reach out to your website, go to your socials, and kind of see what you're all about. If you don't have a social media account or presence, that's completely fine. And I'm talking about online service-based business owners. It doesn't really matter because as long as you have a website or a place where they land, you should be good to go. And that, if you have testimonials and case studies, the better, right? The point here is that if you're going to focus on content marketing, focus on content marketing that will elevate your expertise rather than just making noise. And I find that if you haven't hit your 7-figure mark yet, creating content just for the sake of it is such a loss. Like it's just a waste of time, to be honest with you, right? So aside from that, so we kind of just we went around we kind of define what account-based marketing is. And you're probably going to ask me, okay, so how do we do this in a way that makes sense for me, right? So like it says meld sales with marketing. So right now, you're probably the salesperson and the marketing person of your business. So you should know how to sell these people. You're the best person to know how to sell whatever you're selling, right? So the best way to do this is there's some methods. There's a couple methods that you would actually apply for ABM, right? If you think about it, ABM could potentially be hitting the DMs, potentially, but you need to hit the DMs at a very specific time or point or period within that actual ABM strategy. It's not immediately. You don't just go in there and be like, hey, I love what you're doing, let's talk. You could, but that's not really like that. I don't recommend that. You can also do cold email outreach. A lot of people stay away from cold email outreach, but honestly, if you want to hit, like, if you want to hit the high value accounts, right? Like multiple 5-figure a month accounts, your best bet is to go through cold email outreach, but then connect the DM part too. Maybe generate LinkedIn, like a LinkedIn outreach process on top of the email marketing, the cold email marketing process. So that way there's various touch points. And if you really want to get crazy with it, if you want to get fancy, you also want to grab the people that you're contacting, and then you want to retarget them by sending them to your website, and then retarget them through Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or whatever. So for account-based marketing to work, you do want to have three things, right? So actually just one thing. You want to have a good core offer. And I talk about this a lot. I don't believe that online service providers should be focusing on an irresistible offer. I think that you should be focusing on creating a core offer that is scalable, that you can actually deliver really good results on. And if you currently have that already, and there's certain criteria or requirements for you to actually know that you have a core offer. Number one, you have delivered this multiple times already, maybe a dozen times or more, and you have had multiple discovery calls or conversations with people that are interested in your offer. That doesn't necessarily mean that you've closed them all. But again, if you have delivered on said offer, then that means that you have closed, right? So it has to be scalable. It has to be a framework, something that you can actually provide to other people to apply, like implement. And this is really important, especially if you're an online service provider, because once you have a core offer or a framework, that core offer then can actually be repurposed into a digital product later down the line as you, build up more prominence and more authority in your industry. So when you look at kind of like the 3 steps, or like a 3-step process to be a successful online service-based business, the first step is to have that core offer. If you don't have a core offer, there's different ways that you can figure that out. But this is assuming that you already have that core offer. Step 2 is doing the account-based marketing. And this is where people like miss the boat, man, like miss the train, because like they go from core offer to marketing, which is like the 3rd step. And instead, so they miss that account-based marketing approach, right? So they go core offer, then marketing, and then they're stuck because then they don't really have, again, a proper lead gen system and a proper sales system, right? And the ABM, what that does for an online service provider is really builds that up and creates the foundations for you to scale a sales process down the line that could end up being multiple 7 figures or 8 figures if you really want to take it there. So if you've never heard of this, totally cool. This is why I'm actually creating this podcast episode, because number one, a lot of people nobody really talks about ABM. They stay away from cold email outreach. And I don't really know why, because you can do cold email outreach as long as you're B2B. So anyways, so we went over what account-based marketing is, right? So like, it's really just focusing on those best fit accounts and trying to reach them with different types of marketing strategies. I recommend cold email outreach and LinkedIn outreach for those who are on LinkedIn, or some type of DM messaging type of situation. And then I want to go over some case studies, some really like cool stories that I have actually experienced myself, or I've seen firsthand. So the first one is how 8 and 9 figure tech startups actually use ABM. It's really interesting. And the reason why I wanted to add this story in here is so that you guys know that even at the really highest level, like really high net worth companies are actually implementing this approach. And this is actually where I got this from, okay? So typically with tech startups, when they get funded, they start actually hiring leaders, right? Experts. So they might have, if we're talking about tech startups, they have developers, they have the CEO, COO, or whatever. And then they hire two very key players. The first one is the VP of sales. And then the second one is a VP of marketing. And the VP of sales, sometimes it's both one and two and one. Like it could be VP of sales and marketing, but the VP of sales goes first. And the reason why is because what you want to do is you want to get a sales expert that has a Rolodex of people that are within your industry that could potentially be best fit accounts. Okay. And then this person has already done the legwork because they already have a Rolodex. A Rolodex has a contact information and they could potentially have already an established relationship, right? So the bigger, more concentrated Rolodex, the more valuable that person is to the company. And trust and believe, these VP of sales, they know how to negotiate, so they get equity and stuff like that. And so they get hired and they go through their Rolodex. So you would think that, okay, so a VP of sales is just going to go out there and do sales. No, what they do is obviously they make sure that they can identify best fit accounts, and then they go through their Rolodex first. Okay. And then they grab the Rolodex and they analyze the Rolodex against what the best fit accounts profile is. And they try to generate revenue really quickly, right? So that way you can then go back to the investors and show them that this is a viable product. This is a viable company. Look, we just sold a $400,000 contract in the last 5 days, things like that, right? So then after that, once some revenue is built up, they start actually bringing in other salespeople. And these salespeople are valued based upon their own Rolodex, their own network. And then they do the same thing, right? So the VP of sales does it first. And typically the VP of sales, like they focus on enterprise level type of companies or clients. And then the lower ones, just kind of like, the people under him would end up, maybe having smaller accounts and things like that. But the most important part that I want you guys to understand is that they actually leverage their Rolodex, right? They leverage their network, because salespeople, that's what they're all about, to establish relationships and things like that. So that way, they can see whether this is a good fit for both the company and for the potential client, right? So it goes back to, again, the whole relationship build, right? So if you take anything away from case study number 1, is that as a salesperson, if you're a one-man team, or if you're still handling your sales process, it's all about relationship build and making sure that you're a good fit for that person, and that person's a good fit for you, right? Because intrinsically, that mindset shift, that recalibration of mindset, when you are actually looking for a win-win situation, you have more confidence in your sales call and your sales process, and actually the price that you're going to be tagging on the service. So anyways, so those are tech startups. And I'm being very basic here. There's a lot more that happens, but just for the sake of this podcast, I wanted to go over that with you guys. So then I had a client. Like I said before, I don't do personal branding anymore. I do market my personal brand, but I don't market other people's personal brand. But at a certain time, at a certain point in my life, I did. And I actually was hired by Heather Monahan. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. If you haven't, please go check her out. She's amazing. She's all about self-confidence, sales, and just like really, really like just firing your villains. I love that. But anyways, I actually did ABM marketing on Heather Monahan and I closed her. And the reason why she was a high, like a high net worth account for me was because her podcast had thousands of listeners, but I didn't really care about the listeners. What I cared about was the people that she was actually connecting with. And she had people like Dan Graciosi, Gary Vaynerchuk, like the owner of Spanx, forget her name. But she had really high net worth people in her podcast. And I wanted to make sure that she was being looked at in a good light, because somebody could have asked her, hey, who's on your social media, right? And then I would get another high net worth client. Or I could reach out to anybody that I might find interesting and then say, hey, I can do your social media or whatever, right? So after a while, Heather was actually, Heather is amazing in account-based marketing too, because she grown a huge sales team. She was like VP of sales for this media company. I mean, the girl's a beast. Shout out to Heather Monahan if you haven't, if you ever listened to this. But anyways, so with her, the account-based marketing that happened was, again, I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk's podcast. She came up, and then all of a sudden, like, I literally list the guest of Gary Vaynerchuk's podcast, and I go down the line, and then I started reaching out to these people, but I'd reach out to them in a very specific way so that I can close them. Because if you reach, like, thousands of people reach out to them via DM offering something. So you have to be able to stand out. And there is a specific framework for that. And I will talk to you guys about this in a second, but there is a framework to reach out to somebody and actually stand out, because these high net worth individuals, they get reached out to all the freaking time. And you have to be really good at the messaging to be able to actually get in touch with them. So account-based marketing, you can do digital course creators. So like if you work with only coaches, if you work with only personal brands, if you work with, like, as long as it's B2B, this is a great way for you to generate leads. And there's, again, if you have a good prospecting system, you should be able to know exactly how to find these people and reach out to them. So with Heather Monahan, that's what I did. And then what I did for how I pivoted from my agency, Heather Monahan actually referred me to my first tech startup. And when I closed the tech startup, this was off of a word of mouth referral, obviously. It was really interesting because what I started thinking was, okay, well, if these people just got funded $35 million and they don't really sweat my $19,000 a month bill, are there more of these? Because, like, I was literally, before this $19,000 a month client, I was doing the same damn work that I offered this client for $19,000. I was doing it for $6,000. And I was like, you mean to tell me that I have been charging $6,000 for something that could be $19,000? That hurt, blow. But, I'm super grateful because, like, I had to learn this, right? I had to learn this. I had to be able to practice and reiterate this over and over again to be comfortable enough to actually, like, put that tag on my proposal, right? So again, this is why it's so important that you have that core offer that you have repeatedly processed over and over and over again. Now, I asked myself that question. I created that again. I implemented the prospecting system that I have. And after I implemented the prospect system, I started doing lead generation and doing account-based marketing so that I can attract those those best fit accounts again that we were talking about earlier. And so I closed, just long story short with that, once I did those things, like I was able to close 12 best fit account. I mean, 12 best fit. Why did I say 12? 4 best fit accounts within 12 days. That's what I meant. So it took me 12 days to close 4 best fit accounts that were basically $10,000 or more on a monthly basis. Now, I gotta give you a little bit of a warning. After I did that, I almost broke my business because I wasn't ready to process that heavy of workload, because again, these are whale clients, right? So there has to be a completely different treatment, a different system to basically deliver on the things that are on that particular proposal. Even though it's the same service, the elevation of experience goes like all the way through the roof, right? So for example, like sending out gifts and saying welcome to the fold and like creating all this stuff. Like I almost broke my whole business, because I basically generated $400,000 in my business within 12 days, and that killed me. So this process could be very, very effective, but you just have to, like, what I recommend is if you're interested in actually trying this out, you want to kind of take one at a time until you're good to go. And if you want to go and scale it like crazy to the moon, be my guest. I just personally prefer my 20-hour work week. But again, it's super effective. Now, right now I am actually launching on April 4th the entire account-based marketing system that I use for myself and for my clients. And I would love to see you in there. April 4th is going to be 2 weeks with me, 3 live workshops. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be doing this live every single time. I might not do it again, but the cool thing is that you're going to basically learn exactly what to do. You're going to learn the three-step framework on to effectively execute the account-based marketing process. You're going to learn, I'm going to get my templates for email outreach. You're going to get my tech stack. I'm going to walk you through every single step. So that way, by the time you come out the next week, right, the second week, you're going to be basically a master of account-based marketing for your own business. It doesn't matter what industry you work on. So if you are a tax expert, or if you work with tax experts, if you work with accountants, if you work with, again, business coaches, course creators, it doesn't matter. The system is going to work for you as long as it's B2B. And then to make it even more interesting for you guys, I am actually going to gift you your first 50 big opportunities, your first 50 best fit accounts, no matter what industry, and we'll actually extract those 50 accounts for you live, so you can see exactly how I did it. And then you'll have 50 huge ass opportunities in your pipeline for this quarter. And just think about it. So if you're generating, let's say you're generating $10,000 months right now, right? And let's say that looks like maybe 3 clients, right? 3 to 4 clients. One of these 50 best fit opportunities could end up doubling your monthly revenue. And if you do that before Q2 is over, that would be really amazing. And I think that, I mean, if I was able to close 4 in 12 days, there's a huge possibility that you could close the same amount in 1 quarter. So you could increase your revenue to 400,000 within 1 quarter. And I think that would change your entire trajectory, because you're only going to be handling 4 clients because if it takes 3 to 4 clients for you to generate $10,000 right now, but you can then change that to just be 1 client at $10,000 a month, then that means that you only really need 4 to 5 clients to hit $500,000 in 1 year. Whereas right now, where you're at today, in order for you to hit $1 million, you're going to need around 12 clients to do this. And 12 clients require that you do some more outsourcing, have a bigger team. And then you get into the point where, okay, well, I have a bigger team. That means that the profit margin is going to go down, right? So I want you guys to think about it. And even if the profit margin does go down for a little bit, I mean, it's still amazing to say that you've hit that $400,000, $500,000 in annual revenue, right? So if this is something that you'd find interest in at all, I am actually taking in 10 people this time around. And I'm going to leave the link down below. If you're listening to this, thank you so much for taking your time. The price is going to be $297 until doors close on actual April 4th. So I welcome you to take it because originally I was going to charge $497, but I am cutting the price. So I hope to see you on the other side.